to Taste of VACE. My name is Chef Amy and welcome to my home kitchen. Today what we're going to do is we're going to work on making a simple stir-in yeast cranberry and walnut bread. Couldn't get much easier than this, and this is a great exercise to do with your kids. To start, what we need is 3 cups and 2 tablespoons of flour. I'd like to do a quick demo on the right way to do flour. As a home cook, one of the things we tend to do is we just tend to scoop and we don't pay attention to quantity. So in this big scoop, what I'd like to be able to do is have you use a simple kitchen knife that you use on the table. Not the blade end, because it's curved just like your finger, and most of you use that at home. Let's go ahead and turn it over to the blade side, the non-blade side rather, scrape, and voila, we have a perfectly covered and measured cup of flour. We're going to do that for our 3 cups and our 2 tablespoons of flour. To that, we're going to add our walnuts, we're going to add our cranberries, simple as that, couldn't get much easier. We're also going to be able to add our 2.5 teaspoons of sugar, salt. With that, we're going to add our 3/4 teaspoon of yeast, and we're actually going to add our tablespoon of honey. Now when you go to measure your honey, what I would recommend is, whether you're using a measuring spoon to do it or you're going to put it into something like this to set up your mise en place, what I would do is I'd spray this with a little bit of cooking spray. By doing that, it helps release that sugar so it doesn't stick, and you end up with getting a full tablespoon of that honey right inside the bread. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to use a simple wooden spoon. Any kitchen spoon will do. You just want one big enough to get in there and get things mixed around a little bit. This is a great thing to do with your kids for a variety of reasons. You can practice fractions, and also this is a great bedtime activity, because after we get this all put together, we're just going to let it sit on our countertop for 12 to 18 hours. Our last ingredient is our water. This is lukewarm, about 95 degrees, just from the tap will be fine. And what we're going to do is mix that all in until this comes together into a little bit of a sticky dough. Sticky's fine, we're good with that. Once we've gotten this all stirred up, we're going to put this on our countertop and cover it with a little bit of plastic wrap. Forget it till tomorrow. What a fun thing to do, to wake up tomorrow morning and realize that we have a risen dough that's a little bit bubbly and ready for its next steps. Our next steps would be, let's get that oven on at 475 degrees, and once it comes to temp, what I'd like you to be able to do is put your Dutch oven right inside the oven. That's one of these. You probably make pot roasts or stews and soups with it as of now. Empty, right into that oven. What you're going to do with your dough, while that oven's making that nice and hot so we get that beautiful crust we're looking for, is you're going to take your dough and you're going to turn it out onto a little bit of parchment paper. I actually did that earlier in anticipation you all might be by. So what we've got here is that dough. See how I've got it in my parchment paper? Once I've got it in my parchment paper, I'm going to wrap this in plastic wrap. I'm going to let it sit on my counter for that last 30 minutes of rise. At the end of that 30 minutes, I'm going to remove that plastic wrap, and into my Dutch oven it goes. Just that simple. I'm going to put the lid on and into my preheated, nice screaming hot 475 degree oven. After about 30 minutes, I'm going to ask you to use your hot pads and come in and remove that lid. That releases all the steam that's created that beautiful setting for the crust, but now we need to get it nice and brown. So we're going to leave it there for 8 to 10 minutes. Afterwards, you're going to simply take it out of the oven, place it on a wire rack and let it cool, and before you know it, 30 minutes, 45, you have a beautiful bread ready to go. I don't want you to cut it any earlier because that heat will cause it just to mash together. Here's an example of what can happen with that beautiful bread. Look at that. Wouldn't you love to have a chicken salad sandwich on this? Or perhaps toast it tomorrow morning and spread a little bit of cream cheese on board? Or how about right now with a little bit of butter? Let's make it a lot. So this recipe can be found at the end of the video, referring you back to the location. Come see us again next week, when I'll probably be doing something along the lines of some sheet pan suppers, and maybe even give you a hint or two on how to do it on your barbecue grill. So until then, stay safe, stay well, and enjoy playing with your food.